What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. So thank you guys again for joining us for another helpful video. I'm so sorry for bombarding you with all my uploads. I hope it's not bothering you guys. But today's actually like 5 o'clock upload was more of a fun video, and I kind of wanted to base on the people that are into cars. I really enjoyed that video. So for those that haven't seen it already, feel free to click on that. It's one of the most recent videos I uploaded. It's kind of one of the how much does it cost to own my Corvette Z06. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So there's going to be a couple people that are going to be tuning in live, and we do go live. I'm going to be try to go live at least 3 times a week, and I hope you guys are okay with that. But it looks like you guys really like these live streams, and pre-market hours are definitely one of the things that I want to make sure that you guys focus on. So the name of this title, right? How to do technical analysis, or how to perform technical analysis on stock to find potential. So how is it that you find potential? Well, the reason that I talk about dedicating 15 to 20 minutes every single day when it comes to identifying potential on a certain stock, like following up and seeing what you're going to be trading tomorrow morning. Market opens 6:30 Mountain Standard Time for Arizona. But pre-market hours open at 6 o'clock. So I do this in a series of steps, and I'm going to talk about that. And it's something that I'm going to continue to do. I did receive a comment that I ran into, and it was like, this guy does the same thing every day. It's super repetitive. It's super, cliche. Like, this is all he does. I want to make sure that, you guys understand. Yes, it is very repetitive, but it's because it's kind of more like of a job, right? I mean, that's exactly what it is. I try to treat day trading very seriously, and the way I do that is to be as disciplined as I can. So that means being very repetitive and being very disciplined. So I'm going to talk to you about what it is that I do, and if you guys are not okay with the whole thought process and whole system that I have set up, in no way do I want you guys to mimic or do exactly what it is that I'm doing. You should never trade based on anyone else's opinion, and I personally would never tell you what to trade. And that's one of the biggest things that we express to be such an important factor with TechBot Solutions, is that you as the investor have to be always the final decision maker on what you choose to invest in. All I want to do here is assist you in your success by simply exposing you to what it is that I do good and what I do bad. And in doing that, I provide you with this platform, this community, TechBot Solutions, that all these people do the same things. Now, if you have access to thousands of people across the world that are making a bunch of mistakes and are making a bunch and sharing their best practices and what has led to their success, we're going to be developing this strong and supportive community of investors, day traders, swing traders, all different type of entrepreneurs. But the thing that we have in common is that we want to help one another out, and we're putting our own 2 cents and making sure that every day you post on the Facebook platform, every day that you post once on the group chat, and you say what you did good and what you did bad and your areas of improvement. Not only will that assist someone, right, that's reading your comment, that's also gonna, make you go like into this whole like, I think really psychologically, you typing it out and writing out what you did good and what you did bad will, in a sense, express to yourself what your areas of improvement are. And I want to make sure that we practice that, because I want to make sure that every day we are improving one another as traders, and growing and developing as more experienced and more developed experienced traders to be a very successful group, because that's the goal. So I'm sorry for kind of going on that tangent, but what we're going to be doing is I use pretty much 3 different sources, and what I mean by that is I perform technical analysis to identify potential. And I'm going to show you later throughout this video exactly how I do that. Now, the second step in doing that, once I identify potential in a series of stocks, I plan out my trades. I pretty much put them in this checklist that I created for everyone within TechBot Solutions. You can simply search it up in the search bar of TechBot Solutions, and it's called the Prime Berry Picks. So the PBP checklist. That's what I have it posted within the TechBot Solutions group chat or TechBot Solutions Facebook platform. And that's pretty much just a checklist that you come up with on certain stocks that have to meet certain criteria for you guys to label as successful stocks. And what I mean by that, just to clarify very quickly, is how, with the thousands of stocks that are out there, how do you expect to not overwhelm yourself and to focus on 1 to 2 stocks to not overwhelm yourself? Well, you filter all the stocks that are not going to be doing well based on what you identify to have potential, and you set up a plan for those. And that comes to the third step, and what that is we've planned accordingly. Now we're going to follow up. This is why I find pre-market hours to be so important, so vital to how the day is going to play out. It pretty much projects on the high ends and the low ends of the whole day for that specific stock, at least usually. And what I mean that it usually identifies its support and resistance, just because it tends to fluctuate, pretty drastically if you can, perform technical analysis. And I go live, or at least I've been going live pre-market hours and performing these technical analysis, so you guys can see my whole thought process. So I apologize for those that find this somewhat repetitive, but I'm telling you, it's something that I do every single day. And it is very repetitive, but it's something that has led to my success. So if it's not something that you find extremely entertaining, I apologize. And if there's anything that I can do to add some spice to it, then let me know. And I'd be more than happy to keep you guys entertained throughout this, but I try to take it as serious as I can. And I try to, joke around with you guys, but again, keep it serious and make sure that we stay on track. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna perform technical analysis to identify potential. We're gonna plan out our trades to trade accordingly, and then we're gonna follow up with those trades during pre-market hours. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna start sharing my screen and go from there. Alrighty, so this is the TechBot Solutions group chat. I just posted that I was going live. This is the main group chat. This is the pre-market movers. We have swing trading, OTC, TechBot Solutions breakout, technical analysis, a series of different group chats, right? Altogether, we're sitting a little bit over 19,000 members now. And again, it's a networking group, so we all put in our own 2 cents, and we really try to help one another out. So go ahead and click on the link down below if you guys want to, join this. And again, how I told you, you guys can get access to the PVP checklist. You simply search it up here in the TechBot Solutions group chat. And again, the link is provided for you down below. I'm sorry, the TechBot Solutions Facebook platform. And the link to download this Excel sheet is provided for you right here, which will bring up this prime berry picks, and you pretty much come up with criteria. So one of the criteria that I try to focus on most is RSI that's below 35, above 100, 100 volume, and above EMA or SMA. So depending on what it is that you choose. Now going on to the Thinkorswim platform to identify potential. So one of the big indicators that I try to use to identify a healthy stock is volume. You want to make sure that you can get in and out at the right time, especially during pre-market hours. This is going to be vital for your success, because you want to make sure that it's moving, especially within the first 10 to 15 minutes, as they are the most volatile minutes within the market. So pretty much from top to bottom, AMD has been a very consistent and strong player within this past week because of the huge drop. So obviously this is going to be a huge one that I'm going to be following up with. I still have half my position on AMD. I am still down on my Robinhood account. I sold my Fidelity account for AMD, and again, it wasn't an enormous amount of profit. I didn't play it according to plan, but pretty much what I'm going to be focused on, if you guys are asking what all these lines are, these are the boiler bands, but pretty much here we have the RSI indicators and the SMA indicators. To not overwhelm you, all I really want to do is go a little bit further back, see where AMD stands, and trade according to that. So based on these 5 days, 5-minute candlesticks, it sits at a support of $10.70 and has seen a bounce from that 10.60 support. So what does that mean? It's kind of hitting a resistance here around like 11.45. If you guys saw how AMD played out today, it hit highs of 11.49 if I'm not mistaken, but it wasn't able to break that 11.50 resistance. So tomorrow is pretty much going to be the deciding factor if it's going to go up or go down. So during pre-market hours, as long as it holds, if you guys can focus here a little bit more, that during even right as the market was closing and even during aftermarket hours, you see that there's a very strong support, meaning that it held above $11.20. So what does that mean? Well, based on my analysis, that means that's a support. So I simply write a red line and identify as that support. So during pre-market hours, as long as it holds above 11.20 and continues to show upward momentum, then that's in a sense what we want to see. Now there's a resistance that it had at 11.30 that it wasn't able to break, and as you can see, during aftermarket hours, it was not able to break 11.30 as it held below 11.30. So there's a support at 11.20 and resistance at 11.30. That's pretty much what I'm going to want to follow up with, and that is what I'm going to write on my prime berry pick checklist. So no matter how many stocks you have in your watch list, again, it's about not overwhelming yourself and to keeping it simple. AMD, and this is just where I'm going to put, support. You can write whatever it is that you want, and then so 11.20, 11.30, and that's it. Let's just continue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply set my alerts. So I'm just going to right click, create alerts when it goes above 11.30, just so I can be up to date, right? And then when it goes below 1120, just because I want to be alerted. Whoa. Alrighty. Now let's follow up with one that has seen healthy volume. Let's see how Ford is doing. Simply click on F. And again, don't focus on exactly what stocks I'm looking at, but focus on this whole thought process of how it is that I perform these technical analysis, because that's what I want you guys to focus on. If you guys learn anything from this video, it's not, I don't want you guys to think at all what it is that I'm trading on, but to see how it is that I perform my technical analysis in identifying potential and performing, your own technical analysis and all the stocks in your watch list to identify your own potential within certain stocks, because every investor is going to identify potential differently, and we use different indicators to do that. So I want to make sure that that's 100% clear. So going a little bit further back, let's go to 10-day analysis. It looks like Ford has been on a consistent downward trend. It does look like it's bounced at about the 1170 support that is built, but it's seen somewhat of a resistance here at 1180. So we're kind of seeing the same thing. Again, not necessarily the type of volume that I want to see, although it does show somewhat signs of an upward trend because it's kind of plateauing, flatlining at this 1070 support. What I mean, one of the 3 rules that we have within TechBot Solutions is, identify trade stocks that have 10% potential. And in doing that, that means within a day, because we're day traders. Does realistically Ford show to have 10% potential within 1 day? Well, how do you identify that? Well, it has within 1 day, Ford made a movement that has either gained or lost 10%? Not necessarily. So in saying that, does Ford have 10% potential within that 1 day? Well, no, it does not. It does have maybe 1 to 2% potential, which is fine. But realistically, this is not a stock that I'm going to want to really focus and dedicate most of my time to. So I'm going to move on. Now, FTR. FTR was actually one that I was thinking about getting today because of the support that I identified at 130 and the resistance that's at 140. So it was one that I called out when it was at 119, but it was seeing a consistent downward trend. So I didn't, feel too good about it. Then it had this huge surge of spike, and I swear you guys can watch one of my pre-market, analysis videos, and you guys see that I specifically talk about FTR. If you want to get the door. We identified the support at 1119, 1120. And it saw an upward trend, broke the resistance at 1130, and then moved on to 1140. Saw a downward trend, but now this is pretty much the make it or break it point for FTR, at least as a day trade. Does it have 10% potential? Well, as of the close of yesterday, around $1.35, it hit lows of 130, and it held above 130. So that identifies itself as a strong support. Now it has gone below 130 to lows of 129. So now it comes down to managing risk and seeing if it's worth it for you. Well, it has potential from 130 to about 135, if not 140, right? That's the potential for profit. Now, what's the potential for loss? Well, this is what I mean by setting up a plan. If you're interested in FTR, for example, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my support line. There we go. Now I'm going to put my alert when it goes below 130. And I'm going to follow up with it. I'm also going to set my alert if it goes above 135, but this is definitely one that I want to follow up with. And the reason why is because if you simply use this this whole checklist that I created with you, it calculates your risk. So the purchase price, let's say you buy in at 130. Your target sell price, let's say it's at 135, but you could possibly sell if you follow with the trailing stop loss and the momentum is right to 140. Now your stop loss, since you know that $1.29 has been the solid support, then cutting losses, giving it a cushion, but cutting losses, anything below 129, so at 128.9, right? Minimizing your risk. Therefore, your risk for loss is 0.85%, and your potential for growth is at least 3.70%. So that might be a risk worth taking because your potential for profit is so much greater than your potential for loss. And that really comes down to you as an investor to identify that. And then simply, again, I don't want to perform technical analysis on all the stocks. I really want you guys just to understand on how simple it can be, but how repetitive and consistent you have to be when performing these technical analysis and filtering out stocks that are not at their prime and focusing those that are. So pretty much what I'm going to continue to do is after this video ends, I'm going to probably go straight down this list and filter out stocks that are not at their prime. And the ones that are, I'm going to add them here, add the support, right? Add the resistance. And follow up with it. And what I mean by follow up with this is during pre-market hours, I'm going to follow up and making sure that it's still, the 129 support is still valid. And if it's not, then it's not playing according to my plan. And then I'll erase it from my primary checklist because it's not playing out how I wanted it to, right? Or I can follow up with it later on. But if it is playing out like planned, then I'll continue watching it and seeing if that's going to be a move that I'm going to make. And it really depends on how the market opens. And so we're just going to have to wait on that. But overall, I hope you guys see how simple it is to identify this potential. But yes, it is very repetitive. You do have to be very consistent. And sometimes, yes, it is pretty boring. But I can promise you, how important it is to dedicate time in identifying potential rather than asking people, with one of the most recent or most frequent questions we ask is, hey, what are you trading? Hey, does anyone know any good stocks to trade? Like, hey, where should I buy in? Where should I sell? If you, again, learn anything from this video, don't trade based on anyone else's opinion. I can't stress that enough. And I'm going to continue to say that. You should always know before you invest in a stock, before you buy, you should understand the support, the low points, the resistance, the high points. Identify where's a good buy, again, closer to the low points. Where's a good sell, closer to the high points. And where you should cut your losses. Overall, setting a max stop loss to making sure that you minimize loss. And why that's so important is because the only way you're going to see growth within your account is if you can minimize your loss. Realistically, that's the only thing that makes sense. How do you hope to be profitable or see growth within your account when you're losing 5% and you're making 5%? You're either breaking even or you're losing money and you're wasting your time. Why not minimize loss and only trade stocks that have more potential than their potential for loss, and sticking to your plan? I can't stress that enough on how important it is to stay consistent and stick to your plan and where you're buying, where you're selling, where you're cutting your losses, and making sure you trade based on what the stock is saying and what it's indicating rather than based on your emotion. There's so many things that can go into it that you can make one simple mistake and you end up losing money. So that's why I want you guys to understand on how important it is on planning, how important it is to identify potential, and how important it is for you to be realistic and to stick to your plan. You as an investor have to make sense of it. And if you guys can't make sense of it, just know that maybe you just need to study a little bit harder and dedicate a little bit more time to it. You have access to this free networking group that connects you to over 19,000 people worldwide. And you have access to platforms like TD Ameritrade that offer free simulation trading, meaning that you have no monetary risk, but you can gain all the real experience of trading and getting your feet wet when it comes to trading. So why not start now, and why not do it the right way? Why not do it how the 10% people that make money off of it are doing it, rather than how 90% of people are doing it and losing money? It's a simple thing like saving money. Why not save money rather than spend what you don't have? Everyone does it. Everyone's in debt. But those that save money, considered smart people, they're just doing what they're supposed to be doing. If you want to be trading and you want to be successful, then do what you're supposed to do. Learn, plan, and execute. I can't stress that enough. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it wasn't too long, and I hope it didn't take too much of your guys' time. But it looks, based on your guys' feedback, you guys are really enjoying this, right? And I'm sorry that I didn't get to a majority of your questions, but please let me know if there's anything that I can do to assist you in your success. The best way to reach out to me 100% is to direct message me within the Tech with Solutions group chat. It is somewhat delayed, but it's faster than responding to any, reaching out to me on any other platform, emails or anything like that. Because I want to be responsive and I want you guys to feel connected with me, because I want to assist you any way that I can. And I hope you guys see that. I'm not here to take anything from you guys. I'm not here to benefit from your guys' loss. If anything, when I lose money or when I'm down, and then when I identify potential on what I do wrong, you can ask anyone within the group. I shout out what I did wrong and what I could have done better, and hope that you guys can analyze that and see the potential. And never am I going to tell you what to trade. Never am I going to tell you where to buy and where to sell. All I'm going to do is do what you think is right. And if you can't identify what is right, then maybe you should try to learn just a little bit more, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm one of the most, I think, open-minded people within this group and within our community. And why I do that is because I don't think I'm the best. And in no way do I think I'm better than anyone else. And I think the best way in approaching this is making sure that I expose myself to every opportunity that's out there. But it comes down to me as the investor, as the entrepreneur, to make the decision on whether I choose to invest in whatever it is that I choose to invest, because I'm the investor and I can't blame anyone else for that or go based on anyone else's opinion. So I hope you guys understand. Thank you guys again. I can't thank you guys enough. If you guys can like and subscribe. Like always, we'd greatly appreciate if you think anyone can benefit from this video. Please feel free to share it. I mean, we'd love to assist any person that we can. And just know how important it is to get people involved to motivate you. I'm building this community and connecting a lot of people. But something that I've kind of stumbled upon is I have all these people that I surround myself with that are somewhat related to, investing, somewhat related, that assist me in some form of, that benefit me, right? I have my roommates, they assist me in certain things that, I can't thank them enough for. But one of the biggest things is make sure you surround yourself, or at least, keep in contact with someone that shares the same interests with you. I was having a talk with one of my buddies, Sergio, and that's one of the most important things is, making sure that not only do you communicate and network with like-minded people, but having someone in your life that actually shares that same interest. And if you can do that personally and in person and just follow up maybe once a week, keeping each other on track, I think can really take you guys to the next step and making it more realistic on how important it is, and kind of just competing with one another and having a healthy competition. So if you know anyone that you think that you can really do this with, bring them along. We'd love to have them. And the more the merrier. It's only going to benefit you guys. And again, it's all free for you guys. It really comes down to what you make out of it. It could be nothing for you, right? Because we don't tell you, or we really don't tell you at all what to trade. But it could also be one of the most powerful tools that you can utilize because of the exposure that we have within the group, because of the healthy and welcoming environment that we provide for you. So I hope you guys see the value in that. Like always, we hope you guys end the week on a green note, and let's get it, guys. Take care. We'll see you guys soon.